What's going on, guys? I'm here with Daniel, one of our clients who runs Downtown Kirkwood Studios. Just closed an 18K deal 3 weeks into the program. What's going on, Daniel? How are you?
How's it going, man? I'm doing pretty well.
Awesome. I guess for anybody who doesn't know you, do you mind giving us a little bit of backstory on kind of you, how you got started, and just a little bit about your journey here?
Yeah, so I'm in my early 40s. I've started my first video production company back in 2013. I worked on that by myself with, no experience, no knowledge, no college, no nothing. For about up until 2019, I had a company, they called it Reason Why Productions. I was just kind of trying to find my path, find my way. I got myself to some of the financial goals I set, which at the time I thought were very big goals, but I realized quickly that the amount of money you got to make in this world is a lot more than what anyway, so I reached some goals. Then I got to a point where I was the in-house photo video guy for a marketing firm here in my hometown. When I was there, my best friend, who happens to live on the East Coast now, called me up. Was like, "Hey, I got this idea. Why don't we come together and rebrand your video business and focus on real estate content?" I was like, "Cool, great." We did that. We quickly found out that there was no money in real estate content here in the Midwest. Then COVID hit, and then in like late 2021, a guy we went to high school with called us up, was like, "Hey, or called me up, was like, "Hey, do you make the 360 spins for product photography?" I said, "Yep," even though we didn't. And that's kind of how like our company, me and my friend's company started. We had this opportunity to make a decent chunk of change doing that. So we did that. We ended up renting a small space to shoot it. We ended up keeping the small space. We rebranded the name as DTK Studios. And then so I've been here since like late 2021. And since I've been here in this building, I've been growing exponentially. I bought my partner out of his half of the business because he's on the East Coast. So I own it by myself now. And then last year was my biggest year yet as far as revenue goes. And then 2020, I had a baby last year. So as 2025 rolled in, I found myself kind of like not knowing where to go from there or how to scale the business to grow it, because I kind of was like at my limit the year before. So I kind of got slow, sort of. Then I kind of started grinding, figuring out a plan. I came up with a plan to make like affordable content for like mom and pop shops. And as I was kind of rolling that out, I came across your all's ad on Instagram, and I was like, all right, shit, I'll give it a try, because I'm a little bit skeptical of that kind of stuff.
As you should
And
be.
then
I'm just some
yeah,
guy
yeah, yeah.
here,
And
right? Yeah.
I talked to your expert sales guy. I mean, and yeah, I committed to it, and here I am.
I love it. And what I know you said, so you kind of had the idea of going affordable content. You just closed an 18K deal. I guess what was kind of the biggest problem coming into the program? What were some of the things you wanted to
It
get
was
solved?
it was mainly that I'm very good at making content. I love meeting new people, talking to them, coming up with ideas, rolling out a plan to make their content. The difficult problem is like I don't have like a business background. I don't have like the expertise on sales. I was missing the funnel, the way to get people in to then do the part that I'm really good at.
Yeah.
And for a long, long time, I was always like, I don't want to be a salesman. I'm not a salesman. I'm a creator. I'm just going to create. And although ideally, in an ideal situation that could work for some, it was not working for me. I've got a family to take care of, and quite frankly, I want to make a lot of money.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
and I want to make a lot of money helping other people, and that's kind of what I get to do now. So like now I'm learning like a lot about sales, a lot about the CRM, the back end stuff. I am actually learning a lot about creating content to promote my business, and
Yeah.
while learning about that, it's helping me be able to then take that knowledge and then recycle it for the clients I work with moving forward, because
Right.
there is some element of science to it. As far as I'm concerned, as long as I'm hitting on their brand authenticity and their brand voice, like what I'm learning, I can apply to almost anything.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like key thing there is like a lot of creatives feel the same way as you, where it's like, I don't want to do sales. I don't want to be sleazy. I don't want to do all this crap. Right. But at the end of the day, I think it's a reframe of mindset to where it's like just
Right.
helping people. Right. So it's just like, I'm having conversations with people. I'm figuring out what their problem is. I'm figuring out how my content can help them solve that problem. And I'm having a
Exactly.
conversation. Right. I guess
With
yeah.
integrity, by the way, the biggest
Yeah.
thing for me
Yeah.
is the integrity piece, and it's like I said, you're right. The mindset shift is paramount.
Yeah.
Realizing that, for me, I'm sure other video guys can relate to this. Like for many, many years, I used to tell people like, I am my videos, I am my photos. Like I was very attached to it. And when I found looking back now, I was so attached to it that like a lot of my personal stuff or my personal lack of confidence or my personal insecurities would bleed into it, which then created a huge roadblock in like marketing my business, as a expert, as a professional, because my personal stuff got in the way. So more recently, I've detached a personal element and realized that like I am not my business. I am a spokesperson for my business. And then so I'm kind of applying that mindset. So that's part of the mindset shift.
Yeah, that's huge. What are some of the things you feel like have been helpful within the sales process, like tactics, things you're using? What is that?
I will say this for sure. The biggest thing is, and I told this to get all your names.
Oh, yeah.
Evan, no, Ethan,
Yeah.
is that I mean, before learned all this stuff, I was pretty good at like meeting with people, telling them what they needed, and closing a deal and getting clients. Having said that, I found myself now looking back doing a lot of talking, a lot of telling them what they need, a lot of telling them this, that, and the other, versus what I've learned is that to kind of sit back, ask the right question,
Mm-hmm.
let them talk, let them hear themselves say what their problems are, let them like reiterate and like reaffirm in their mind why they want and need the service, why they're on the call with me, why they're meeting with me, to where I can just do less and like be the expert and be the guy that's like, all right, yeah, right, exactly. And just like, here's your problem. Here's what your goal is. Here is a pretty solid way to get there. I can help you get there. And now it's kind of like up to you. So like that's a big part of it, is like the
It's
knowing
not
the
even
right
about doing more, it's just about doing less half the time.
Dude, honestly, as long as you're asking the right questions, it's huge. So asking the right questions and understanding to shut the hell up
Yeah.
and let them talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, and I talked about this on my coaching call on Monday too. It's like so many people want to do solution dropping to where they just like hop on a call. They're like, let me tell you all the great things about me and how I can make beautiful content for you and blah, blah, blah. And people, when you say that to a client, they just go, want, tune you out, right?
Yep,
They're like, great, everybody says that. You're not really listening to me about what I actually want. And so it just becomes this thing where it's like you're just talking at them, like you said. And it's like,
exactly.
sit back. How can I help you? What are you looking for? And if anything, it's more salesy, in my opinion, to be the person that's just telling them all the things you do all the time, right? So it's like
100%.
great, cool. Like you think it's more salesy to do this, it's more salesy to do that because you're just telling them and talking at them, and you're
Yeah.
not like the biggest thing I hate too. And I'll get off my high horse in a sec, but like is when people just put their prices on their website and they're just lazy about it, right? It's like you didn't actually take the time to understand what it is that they need and if you can genuinely help them or not. You're just like,
Right.
if they see the price and they want to close, great. It's like that's not how it works.
So that's so what you just explained is, and this again ties into like, as a creative person, I think that a lot of us are very attached to what we do.
Yeah.
And because of that attachment, it brings in all this personal stuff. And like the lazy element, or like just putting out there, if they want it, they want it, is a very easy way to sort of a cop out of like being accountable, being able to like stand on your own feet and be like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
If you need it, great. If not, maybe there might be some better fit. But it's a huge, like you said, mindset shift.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you just really have to genuinely see if you can help somebody. And like, that's the thing when it comes to like follow up and like maybe objection handling. It's like, if you went through that whole process and you genuinely believe you can help them, and you can genuinely say, like, if you work with me, I'm fairly confident we can help you get to where you want to go, then it's your job to figure out how to overcome concerns, right? How to
Right.
follow up with them, how to touch base in a non-needy way. And it's like, I just think if people just implemented that, a lot of times they'd just make so much more money.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, one advantage I think that I've had is having, almost 13 years of experience in this, knowing that like I've taken so many jobs in the past that I shouldn't have, but I needed to.
Yeah.
And sort of like reverse, the whole qualifying potential client is huge. And that, this is all kind of like, I was telling Evan earlier today, it's like, this is almost like a mental emotional practice than anything else. It's like,
Yeah.
how far can you take yourself to the edge of discomfort of like speaking their, being honest, being real, giving them the facts, being the expert, allowing yourself to be that person without, being too pushy, and getting yourself through those uncomfortable phases of like, oh my God, I have to do it this way, or oh my God, I got to get over this hump. So I've learned a lot already, man. Just being in front of the camera, like filming my VSL, like
It's a personal journey. I always say that.
It is
like marketing is a personal journey.
Dude, it is I mean,
Yeah.
it is a personal journey. That is correct.
Yeah, it is. Because you just learn a lot about yourself too. You're like, man, I really speak that way, or I say this, or I do that.
Right,
Or
I'm
like,
telling you. And also just like having the confidence and security to speak it, own it, know it,
Yeah.
believe in it, and like then put it out there, and then like be able to then, take it, receive what comes. Dude, it's a lot, man. It's a whole lot. And it's happened quick for me. And
Yeah.
the reason I'm saying that is because I've been doing this for over 10 years. I think that if you're just starting out, because I think a lot of guys and gals are, it's like there's going to be more of a curve of like learning all this other stuff I've learned over the last 10 plus years.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And kind of a weird question, but I guess like where do you feel like you might have been if you hadn't taken the jump? Because obviously, like coming into the program scary, investing in yourself
Yeah,
scary. Like it's an investment for sure. I guess
sure.
where do you feel like you might have been if you hadn't like pushed yourself to the uncomfortable zone and like
I
taken?
would still be trying the same stuff I've been trying for 10 years and hoping that it would work and having this like sort of blind faith in like the universe or whatever you call it, which did work. I mean, I'll be honest, that worked for a while. I
Yeah,
mean, it honestly did. Like it worked for a while, but I'm trying to grow. I am
yeah.
growing, and it's like it doesn't work. You know, blind faith only goes so far.
And you have great work, and I think a lot of times people think
Right.
if I just have good work, it's going to take
Yep.
me to the next level. And like it will get you far, but it won't get you to where you really want to go and where you want to grow. And like you have
Exactly.
to do the work that you've been avoiding to get to the
Mhm.
next level you want to get to. And it's uncomfortable. It's not fun, right? But
For the last 2.5 years, I mean, it's almost 3 years now. I've been doing my own personal like journey of healing and stuff like that.
yeah,
And I learned quickly early on that like everything awesome and beautiful and amazing is on the other side of discomfort, no matter what it is in your life. So like in your business, pushing yourself to the edge and then going past the edge is like if you're trying to grow, it's a must. And I think that like I said, there is value in doing it on the personal level too. But
yeah.
it is that going through the discomfort is a real thing.
Yeah. And I think it's something that I heard from one of my mentors like last week that I think was really helpful for me too. It's like you kind of, with someone who's been in business as long as you have, it's like you get to a pool of people where you're the top dog and like you
Mm,
feel good. And you're like, my work is great. I'm comfortable. I'm at that level. Right. But it's like you have to keep pushing yourself to the next level where you feel like the
mhm.
smallest person in the room
That's right.
every time. And it's so not fun because it hurts our ego like
Yep.
I've had to do it. It hurts my ego when I do it. It's like, man, but I felt so good when I was like the top dog over here. But you got to keep
Hmm.
pushing yourself and like getting in rooms and with people who are doing more than you. And then you're like, man,
And that's
I
one thing when I started this, I could have easily been like, these guys are in their 20s, they don't know what they're talking about. I could have easily been like, I know all this stuff already. Why would I listen to them? But I regardless of when I met with your sales guy and decided to take the call and then make the leap, it was like I'd already committed to the idea of like I'm going to consciously choose to set everything I think I know aside and just almost in like a relief way, like
yeah,
just do what they fucking say. Like
yeah,
don't think, just do.
just do.
And so
Yeah.
that's a big part of this too. And I think again, that's partially a reflection of me being doing it for so long and
Yeah, I mean, you
having
put your
the
ego aside, and most people can't do it, right? Like I've
right,
struggled with that personally a lot, where I'm like, man, I can't put my
right.
ego, like,
Well,
but
dude,
every time I do, it's like I just have to remind myself that like I don't know that much, and there are tons of people who know more than me, and it's like I
right.
got to get around those people and like put my ego to the side. It doesn't serve anything except make you
Well, and
feel.
also, I think having the success that you guys have appeared to have, makes it even more difficult at times to put your ego aside because when you have the kind of success that you seem to have, it's like that can really fuel that,
It
like,
just
I
gets
don't need any,
harder at each level, I
dude,
think.
I'm telling you.
Genuinely, it does. It gets harder because you're like, you could, people could, anyone could easily lean back and be like, look at all the stuff I've done, look at what we've done in this. But it's like, you have to keep being like, I know nothing. I need to
Hmm.
keep pushing myself. Like, I need to get around people who are doing more than me and then just keep genuinely pushing to that next
Yeah, but
level.
to answer your question though, where I would be without this would be I'd still be just kind of like in the thinking mind and worrying about what's going to happen next versus now I've kind of like been able to this whole process has allowed me to dial in my presence even more and being here now and like focusing on what's in front of me versus
Yeah.
like what's worried about coming next. So it's really, really
Love it, man.
helpful.
Well, props to you too for being like, hey, I've been in the industry for a long time. I'm gonna make a change and do something, right? It's huge.
Yeah.
And last question, I'll let you go. If anyone's maybe on the fence about just booking a call, seeing if it's a fit for them, I guess knowing what you know now, what advice would you give them?
I would say this what you guys offer as far as the structure, the information, the videos, the sales tools, all the back end CRM stuff, all that stuff is objectively great. I think that the biggest thing, if you're on the fence, and this is where I was for this and other things like it that I've came across in the past, is that investing that amount of money in yourself slash your business is a real thing. Like it's not even just about the money. It's like it's telling yourself I'm worth this, and that can be very challenging for people whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
So I would say if you believe in yourself, if you think you're worth it, if you think you're valuable enough, do it. And I don't know if, but there are flexible. I was able to be fortunate enough to have a flexible way to pay for it through you
Yeah.
guys, so that helped a ton. But I mean,
Even if it's not with us, like it could be with someone else, right? If you
right. I'm saying
invest in your
invest
business.
in yourself.
Yeah.
Money is an energy, right?
Yeah, it is.
I'll give you a quick anecdote. My dad's 71, right? He's just now having enough courage, with the help of my sister, who's in business with him now, to invest in himself in his business in a way he never has before. And the irony is, God bless him, he's in wealth management. So even he struggles with it. Point being, this is, if you believe in yourself, this is investment in yourself and your business. And because you invest energetically, it then sort of puts you in a position to, the only option is success.
And like I said, dude, props to you. Like we've just implemented the sales side. Once we start implementing other parts of the process, as far as like lead generation and other parts, like it's just going to keep snowballing from there. So I'm excited to do another one of these down the road as well. And I appreciate your time.
Well, shit, I've got, I think 3 other things that could happen in the next 7 to 10 days.
Got to keep this updated.
So we may be here sooner than later.
Let's go. I love it, man.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.